Okay, so adding and subtracting fractions then. We should be able to add fractions of same denominators, different denominators, subtract fractions, and then problems involving adding and subtracting fractions. So the deal with adding and subtracting fractions is it needs to be the same denominator, otherwise we can't add them. This one couldn't be more straightforward. 3/10 plus 4/10, it just gives us 7/10. The denominators are already the same, so we don't need to do too much. Example 2, 4/7 plus an 8. So we need to find the common denominator. 7 and 8 are quite awkward. 56 actually is a common denominator here. This bit confuses people. I'm going to write it out separately over here. What do I times this by to get 56? It's times by 8. That's going to be 32. Then I have an 8 here. That's 56. What do I times this by to get 56? It's 7. So I times this by 7. So 4 over 7 plus 1 over 8 is the same as 32 over 56 plus 7 over 56. I've done the working out up here. We don't need this bit of working out, but I just think it kind of shows where it comes from. 32 then, so 39 over 56 is our answer then to that one. Example 3, we have 5/9 take away a third. We want to change those both into ninths. 5/9, so times that one by 3, so I'm timesing that one by 3, and we end up then with 2/9. You could change it to 27ths, it just makes your life a wee bit harder. Very similar actually then with example 4. So 3/8 plus a half take away 3/4. The lowest common denominator here is actually 8ths. So 3/8, change that into 8, and times that by 4, so times that by 4. Times that by 2, so times that by 2. Nearly there. 3 plus 4 gives me 7, take away 6. And I end up then with an 8. Adding fractions with mixed numbers. There's a couple of different ways of doing this one. Some people like to do the 1 plus 3 and then just add these. That just makes your life harder, I think, whenever you come to subtract them. So I'm just going to go top heavy and work them out from there. So we need to go top heavy fractions here, and we'll see how we get on. 1 times 3 plus 2 gives me 5 over 3. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 4, which is 19 over 5. Now a common denominator of 3 and 5 is going to be 15. I've times this by 5, so I need to times this by 5, so it's 25. I'm timesing this by 3 to get 15, so I times this by 3 and I get then 57. Add these on the top, I get 72 over 15. That goes 4 times, so 4 15s give me 60. And 12 15ths. And so many people stop here and lose a wee mark. 12 15ths is going to cancel down very slightly. And it would be then kind of 4/5. Alright. Second example then. Numbers are getting a wee bit big here, but we will try our best and see how we get on. So it's 2 1/7. So I rewrite that as 2 times 7 plus 1 is 15 over 7. 3 times 6 is 18 plus 5 is 23 over 6. Common denominator here annoyingly is going to be 42. Numbers are big. I've times this by 6, so I'm going to times this by 6, and it's going to give me 90. I have times this by 7, so I need to do 23 times 7. 7 times 3 is 21, times 2 is 14, 15, 16, so it's 161. I add those two things together and I get 251. over 42, and so I need to work out then how many times 251 is how many times 251 can be divided by 42. So 251 divided by 42, 10 of them would be 420, so half of that would be 210, so it wouldn't quite go in there, so it's going to be 5 and 41 left over. Quite a tough one then to work out. So subtracting fractions in with mixed numbers, very similar method. If we've done our adding ones by that method, these are just going to be exactly the same. So top heavy fractions again. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 4 is 19 over 5. 12, 13 over 6. I need to change into 30th. It's never straightforward. I'm timesing this by 6, so I'm going to times this by 6, which I think gives 114. I'm timesing this by 5, so timesing this by 5 gives me 65. 114 taken away from 65, let me see, 35, 15, is it 49? Because 50 would give me, yeah, it's 49 over 50. And that goes 1 and 19 30ths. Calculate the following then. 5 and a 6 take away 3 and 2/5. 5 times 6 plus 1 is 31 over 6. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 2 is 17 over 5. Excuse me. Again, we're going into the 30ths. I'm timesing this top and bottom by 5. So 5 times 31 is 155. And timesing top and bottom of this one by 6. So I think that gives 102. It's alright, I made a mistake here. That should be a 30 there, obviously. We are nearly there. 155 take away 102 is 53. That goes one time. 23 left over.